This program is brought to you by Community Trust Bank, Medical City, Bid Select, and the Neely School of Business at TCU. Welcome to Platforms, the life-lifting news program for women. Now, here's your host, Siobhan Palmer.
Welcome back, everybody, to Platforms, the life-lifting news program for women. Continuing my conversation with Dr. Tran. She's a board-certified urologist here in the Dallas, Texas area at Medical City. Fascinating conversation about her area of specialty. Dr. Tran, when we went to break, you were just explaining to us about a procedure that you're going to have to give our audience the name of the procedure.
Sacrocolpopexy.
There you go. That's why I'm in TV and she's a surgeon. Okay, so what are the benefits of this type of surgery? Because I know this mesh, many women in their 50s and 60s go through procedures like this, and it seems like this mesh material is a nice support for everything that's heading south, so to speak.
Before I get into sacrocolpopexy, I did want to say that, you know, not every woman needs surgery if things start to descend. It all depends on how much things are coming down. And
so it's a matter of degree?
It's a matter of degree, it's a matter of location, it's a matter of how much it bothers them. I mean, it's strange to hear from a surgeon that, you know, you may not need a surgery, but I think it's important that women know that there's a wide range of options out there. And, you know, depending on their life situation, I've had, you know, I have a number of patients who just can't have a surgery because they're worried about they have to be able to take care of a family member parents, or other aspects of their lives, and but they can feel this bulge and it's uncomfortable to them. So one of the options I give them is a pessary, and a pessary is simple. It's like a diaphragm. It's
called a pessary.
A pessary.
Pessary.
That's what they used, you know, historically. It's a non-surgical option. It's almost like a tampon in that it's something that's inserted in the vagina, and it helps to keep things up. It's not a cure. It's like a bandage for a solution, but it's non-surgical. It lets you know, it keeps things up. And, you know, there are other types of surgeries. You know, you were talking about mesh. There's various ways of approaching, placing the mesh and where you're tacking it in terms of for support. A lot of it can be done transvaginally, which is not a visible incision. But I think at the end of the day, the reason I may sometimes try to guide my patients towards sacrocolpopexy is that their prolapse is very pronounced.
It's significant.
It's very significant. They're very symptomatic and they're active. And, you know, we know that women are living into their 80s, 90s now. They have a long life expectancy ahead of them, and they, you know, when they can do it when they're younger, it's easier for them to recover. And this is one of those surgeries that work well. It's called the gold standard because the risk of recurrence, where the prolapse comes back, is lower, and there's less risk of what's called dyspareunia, where you have pain with intercourse associated with this, compared to other types of surgeries for this this condition. And certainly at the end of the day, it may take a little bit longer than the other surgeries, but I think you get a better, more long-term durable result.
Right, and like a quality of life type issue. This is something I think is a very important question for the audience. When should a patient see a urologist vice their gynecologist?
I think for patients, it is a very confusing question. Our two fields very much overlap, you know, and in fact, we work very closely together on a lot of patients with these type of conditions. For instance, if a patient comes in and she still has her uterus in place and that is what's starting to drop down, the gynecologist may be the one who does the hysterectomy and I may be the one who does the sacrocolpopexy. It kind of all depends on, who is comfortable with what. I will never be comfortable with the hysterectomy. I will never do it, certainly. But, you know, some gynecologists are trained to do these type of procedures, and so they won't necessarily refer the patient to me. But for those gynecologists who don't have as much experience, then they will send their patients to us. You know, at the end of the day, you go with a physician who you're comfortable with, who has that degree of expertise, that degree of experience. Urologists tend to see men and women. We have, you know, we've been trained to do these surgeries because we deal with bladder issues, problems with voiding, incontinence, and the whole pelvic floor issues. Gynecologists is the same. So I always say a good starting point is your family practitioner, as well as your gynecologist, whoever you're comfortable with.
And I think you brought up a great point. I think there's so much stigma or embarrassment associated with these type of surgeries, but the bottom line, it's all your body, it's all biology, and you need to do a lot of preventative to have a healthy lifestyle.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I think that's a good take-home message, which is, you know, women are living longer,
right.
and quality of life is important.
Yep.
This is not something to be embarrassed about. You know, you don't get embarrassed if when you have Botox done or anything like that.
Exactly.
And this affects women
Yeah.
exercising, doing their daily activities, working.
Yeah.
If you know, if you have difficulty with urinating, if you have a sense of discomfort
Right.
all the time, then there are many different options for correcting
Yeah.
it. And now we have lots of minimally invasive procedures,
You don't
including
need to
the
be
robot.
miserable. Doctor, I want to close with you because you've had a fascinating background. You were born in Vietnam, you went to Harvard University. Smarty pants. You're a remarkable woman. Could you tell me some heroes you've had in your life, personal heroes first?
I think the one that always comes to mind is my mother. And the reason is, you know, my father was in the Air Force, and he had to evacuate right at the fall of Saigon on April 14th. And you know, my mother didn't know where he was. She raised us as a single mother for 4 years.
Wow.
And saved money to bring us over to America. And during that time, you know, it was post-war, very terrible conditions.
Right.
But somehow she was able to manage to save enough money, not only for her 3 children, but her extended family, multiple brothers and sisters.
Wow.
And, you know, when you're grown up, you don't recognize what a remarkable woman your mother is. But I had the opportunity to go back to Vietnam when I was right after college. And I met a lot of her friends, and they had these incredible stories about what a remarkable businesswoman she was. You know, all I saw when I was growing up was this woman who barely spoke English, who held a, you know, who did manual labor. She took great care of us, but I didn't have insight into this other aspect of her. And when I went back to Vietnam, I just realized what a remarkable woman she was, and how she was able to achieve so much against such great odds. So she's always
I can understand why she is
my
your
hero.
hero. Well, Dr. Tran, this has been an absolute honor having you on the program. Fantastic information for our viewers. Give our audience how they can get a hold of you or the Dallas Urology Associates, your website.
So we're located here in Medical City. We're here in Building A.
We can go to the Medical City website and then get information.
Absolutely.
Which we'll put up on our
or
website.
Our website
as well.
is www.ucnt.com.
Dr. Tran, again, I would love to have you back on the show. It's been fantastic.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Siobhan Palmer with Platforms, a life-lifting news program for women. We'll continue on minimally invasive surgery here in the next segment. We'll be back in a moment.